saying I liked it.
Yeah, so now I eat peppers. It's just...
Oh, since then, because you didn't eat veg.
No, I never ate veg.
I'll make you more veg. You'll love veg. If you come over and stay with me for a bit, you'll just love veg. I cook veg to perfection.
I think you cook veg just to make up for all the other crap that you eat.
Well, depends when and where. I mean, at the moment, as I'm not getting ready for anything in particular.
Not getting ready for... We've got a game against France in June.
Yeah. It's not World Cup though, is it? It's a friendly. I can't show them how good I actually am. I've got to be kind of shitty and then surprise them at World Cup.
Right.
You know.
Right. So I'll start the intro anyway.
It's all about strategy, mate.
Strategy, yeah, just a false sense of security.
Yeah. So what's your intro going to be like? Hello,
I'm going to introduce me. I'm going to big you up. That's what I'm going to do.
Pardon?
I'm going to big you up.
Go ahead then, mate. Top 10
right,
in the world, 2017.
So I'm joined by Sebatien Bechara.
No. Sorry, mate. Belawara. Thank you.
You joined England in 2015 at Wheelchair Rugby League, didn't you?
I did.
Was that your
England
first one?
Rugby League 2015. I met at the time was Phil Roberts in March 2015 when we came over to play against Leyland Warriors with Catalan for the European Cup in Preston. We played,
the
lovely game.
Unofficial European Cup, you mean?
Unofficial European Cup that we won against Leyland and Preston. I was captain for that game actually. 40-30 we won. I remember.
What,
and that's when they called me over to come and have the
Catalan let you be captain?
Well, mainly because it was English rest and I was the only one that could speak English.
So they just needed you to be able to talk to the referees?
Yeah, basically.
Story of your life, innit?
Obviously.
Yeah. So, Seb, you're a European champion. Not just at club,
Double.
International
Double.
level. Yeah?
Unofficial and official.
And one thing that most people don't know about you is you actually play the trumpet professionally. Is that right?
I do, professionally. Yeah. Well, I've been playing the trumpet for many, many years now. I started back when I was living in England, which was, I moved to France when I was 9 or 10, so long time back. And at the moment, it suits me very well because it allows me to travel to England when I need to for England training or whatever. Because it's not like a lot of people have a fixed job and they just can't get off that easy. Whereas I can just tell them, right, I need to be replaced this weekend. I've got an England camp, so then I can just get organised and be there for rugby, which is nice, and have time for training and stuff during the day and whatever, and time for the rest, family and friends.
That's good, but
so it's.
How does it work exactly in terms of employment? Are you employed by the band, or are you like a self-employed basis, or work for like cash in hand kind of thing?
I guess I'm self-employed, like I'm a musician, self-employed musician, and then bands. I've got an official band that I play with most of the time, and then people can just call me and I'll book me and I'll play for them or whatever. But I don't only do concerts and stuff. There's also recordings and orchestras and stuff like that I have to join as well. And we make CDs for some people. Like there's a guy that's making a CD and he's a singer, and he needs some. Oh God, what's that? Yeah.
For those that are listening, we're just popping up a picture of Sebastien when he's playing trumpet at Christmas. What are you dressed as there?
So that will. I was actually undressed by then, but that's one of my bands, and it's a kind of a festive rock band. And we actually, at the moment, because we change every year, we're dressing up as garden gnomes or whatever. So I did have a big beard on and some glasses and the hat and whatever, but by then I took everything off because it was the festival of beer or something, playing for that occasion. and we took. It was just very, very warm, and took everything off. But yeah, we looked ridiculous. That's the whole point.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be fun, isn't it? Yeah, I'll let you off for that, but I won't let it down. So,
mate, I can find loads of pictures of you the way you look completely. just saying.
That's the best thing about these video conferences. You're not allowed to share anything. I've got all the power.
Yeah. I wouldn't dare try. I've never used this app before, anyway.
Yeah, that's how I get you.
You can beat this bit out.
But let's go back to the beginning. Oh, we just caught Jade over here.
Hi, Jade.
So we'll go back to the beginning. So when your accident, you had a bike accident, didn't you? Because we were talking we were talking to James Hazel Saturday or Sunday, and he's the same. He was in a bike accident.
Yeah, bounced off.
How did yours go? And I'll weigh them up against James's.
I think his was probably worse because I was 18 at the time. I've always been a big fan of motorbikes, and been on one since I was quite young, like smaller one. And then when I was 18, I got the bigger license. So I bought the Kawasaki 650, big bike, much faster anyway. And so it's a very, very sunny day, as it is where I live in Perpignan, very sunny. It was the 12th of July, so middle of the summer, and it was like 6 p.m. So the sun was starting to go down, and I had it in my eyes. I couldn't really see anything, and I was on this 90-kilometer road, like 90-kilometer limit, and just arrived behind a truck. And the truck, by seeing me, they kind of, in France, they just kind of let you pass. They go on the side to let you overtake. So he did that, and naturally I just overtook without even thinking about it really. And then so far ahead I could see cars, but just looked like they were going the same speed as me. And then so just like very last second realized that they were all at a complete stop and had to jump on the brakes. And then I kind of managed to dodge the cars there, but then landed on the floor, kind of broke my leg falling on the floor on the other side of the road. And then this car that was coming managed to stop like a meter away from me, which is where I'm lucky compared to James, who got bashed around all over the place. And then I was really lucky because so my femoral artery was like sectioned kind of thing. And this guy in the car that managed to stop right in front of me, he was ex-military, so he knew all about this stuff and came over and stuck my leg back on and kind of did a pressure point. Yeah. And he saved my life because there was loads of people around me. I stayed conscious, and the view was awful. I mean, blood, like Kill Bill kind of blood blowing all over the place. And no one was doing anything. Everyone was like kind of shocked, and no one would move, kind of thing.
I wouldn't know what to do in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. But you just, the stress of the moment, it just blocks you, just freeze, and you don't do anything. And then this guy just like came running and shouted to someone, "Oh, call the ambulance or whatever." And was pompier here in France, and yeah, he saved my life. And then so then that night had surgery for about 9 hours trying to save my leg. So they had to replace my artery by a vein. So they took a vein out of my leg and then replaced the artery with the vein. And then all sorts of things to try and fix the bones. One of them tried to save my leg for about a month, which was probably the worst month of my life. But and then after a month they just said, "No, it's not possible," and cut it off, which was huge relief in the end, because I lost. I mean, in the amount of pain I was having for that month, the fact of cutting it off just was huge relief. I was free again, kind of thing. So yeah, that's how I lost it.
I've talked to, I met a lot of people in the wheelchair basketball in the past, and they've all had issues with the legs from injuries and things like that, where they've been able to save the leg, but they're stuck with chronic pain. And
exactly,
they go to their doctors, and they're begging them to amputate, and the doctors are always like, no, we've got the leg on it. We need to see if it'll take and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people who are better off for amputation, sort of thing.
I know. So I think I was lucky in the fact that there was many reasons for them cutting it off, but one of the main ones was that it was seriously infected, and if they didn't cut it, I would have probably died. and that was one of the main pushing reasons that they cut it off. And I think that was very lucky, because if it wasn't infected, even if it was in a bad state, I would have probably chosen, oh please, I want to keep my leg, because just naturally you want to keep your body intact. Whereas if I had actually kept my leg, I'd probably be nowhere near as able as I am right now, kind of thing. Because I mean, with this prosthetic, I've got a brand new one. You haven't even seen, actually.
Have you got it there?
Yeah.
Well, of course you have it stuck to your leg.
That
Ooh,
top class. So
that's a lot better than that scrap metal you had before.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I run, I do hikes and stuff. Last year I went all around South America for 6 months, hiking all over, going up volcanoes and stuff. I can do any sport, canyoning, surfing, everything. And I'm pretty sure if I had stuck my proper leg,
I think I've got a picture of that to
I would have.
show them off. There you are.
Oh yeah, I've got you well prepared, mate. That was in Bolivia, in the center of South America, and it was called La Laguna de los Volcanes.
I won't repeat that.
They call it the Volcano Laguna, just to attract tourists. But there's no actually volcanoes. It's just mountains.
So there is no volcano, but they call it a volcano.
Yeah, there's no volcanoes there, just mountains, mate. But it was beautiful, nice hike.
It looks it, mate. It looks it.
Yeah.
Was the walk hard getting up there?
Yeah, well, so that day it wasn't the hardest I did, but that was just a day trip. So that was, I think we probably walked about 4 hours or 5 hours, maybe a bit more. I know we had a break to have a swim in the river, very muddy river that was over there by the side. We had a guide, so in Bolivia everything was cheap, so having a guide for the full day was maybe £4.
Yeah. £4 for a guide for the day.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe less. I can't remember actually.
We're going to Rome the end of this week, and I'm like, maybe we need to go there instead.
Yeah, Rome's not that cheap, but
No, it's definitely not cheap. Definitely not cheap. We've looked into it. We're screwed.
I guess you'll have nice pasta and pizza there. Cannelloni.
Oh mate, we've done loads of research. We know exactly where we're going. We've got the whole week planned. We know where we're going each day, what we're doing. There is no spontaneous.
Oh, yeah, you asked me about it as well, didn't you?
What? Sorry.
I remember now. You asked me about it not long ago. Was it Jade that asked me about it? I can't remember.
It was probably Jade. I'm not organised like that to think ahead and.
Yeah. I think Jade contacted me and I gave her a bit of info because I've been there a few times. Cheap Ryanair flight, hey?
Yeah. So when you got started in wheelchair sports, was wheelchair rugby league the first sport you started playing?
Well, I was in a rehab centre down where I live, and so the first wheelchair sport I actually played was wheelchair basketball, only in the centre, and so it was just messing around with other people that just had an accident or very disabled people. So at the time I thought I was amazing with the wheelchair. I thought I was really fast, really good, because I was playing against people that were just very, very bad. And so Cyril Torres, who was French national captain at the time and Catalan Dragon captain at the time. He worked for this company that sold wheelchairs, and he came over to the rehab centre to sell some wheelchairs and whatever. And then he saw me, and so we had a chat. And he said, "Oh, you should come over and try wheelchair rugby. We play at Perpignan, and you can come have a try. It's not the same though. We have real proper good wheelchairs and proper people playing." I thought, oh yeah, sure. So I thought I would be really good to come over, and I'm actually up against these people like Lolo, Nico, Cyril, Gilles. I'm just a beginner getting in a chair, and I'm playing against these guys who were just about to be world champions. Because this was I joined in January 2013.
Oh no, you didn't.
So just a couple of months before the World Cup, and so I was training with these just soon to be world champions, and obviously I was nowhere near as good as they were, and it made me progress very, very quickly, because I was learning with, at the time, what was the best
in France. Yeah.
Oh, they're supposed to be the best in the world, aren't they?
Whatever. Mate, you was on the losing team too.
I was 4 years later, but I was on the winning team 2 years later.
Right, so I'm going away from that because I don't want to cry. So the first time you played for England, was that the Four Nations? It was, wasn't it?
No,
Was it not? Or did you do Euros first?
Euros first.
I
So
thought I thought the Four Nations was before that.
didn't play in the Four Nations before that. No, I did the European Cup against Leyland in March 2015, and then joined England after that kind of thing. Started doing the training with England. So my first competition with England was the Euros.
Oh, not a bad way to start then, is it?
No, so that first game we had on that Wednesday night against France, which was the Kelty Fasolette Cup, that we won with flying colours, and then we ended up finishing the Euros. You know how it ended. You were very happy to score that final try.
Yes,
I can mimic you. That's what you did.
Yeah. The,
Golden point.
see, I kind of forgot about that now. I'm more just filled with rage from 2017.
Yeah, obviously, me too. I completely forgot about it as well. But yeah, so that was my first time with England, and then did the Four Nations the year after that, 2016.
Yeah, yeah. That's just
On
me
my
not paying. That's
request,
just me not paying attention, mate. Like that. So.
I know.
Well, I
you'd
wasn't
think
allowed
you'd
to
love
play
it.
in that one.
You weren't. I wasn't supposed to either, but then I kind of complained as I've never done it before. Please, could I? And you know, they let me.
Mm.
And I
when you started playing for England, then how was the reaction from your Catalan teammates and all the French? Because obviously you're playing in the French league and you're close with them guys. So how do they react to you joining England as much as you are English?
About it. Yeah. Well, they were very happy about it. It was actually Cyril that helped a lot for me to get in the England team. Cyril was the one that contacted Phil Roberts and everything, and made a point about me being English and that I wanted to play for the England team, kind of thing. So they're all very happy for me, and we're all looking forward to playing against me in a game, because we always play together, kind of thing. So it was.
So what were their reactions like after you beat them?
Oh, you know, you English, you cheats. Your refs, they're cheating or whatever. Ridiculous decisions from the refs. Yeah, it was half the team was missing. Blah 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 blah. With a French accent. Blah 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 blah. French.
So that was obviously their reaction. What was your mum family's reactions? Kind of like your English. You have got friends over here in England before you started playing wheelchair rugby league as well. Were they involved and following you when you first started playing?
Yeah. A lot of them came over to watch the game. A lot of them helped actually during the training towards the European Cup, because I had to fly over, obviously, for every camp. But flights wouldn't be so easy to like fly in, do the training, and fly out. I would have to fly in the day before, 2 days before, and then the day after or 2 days after. So I would go and sleep at friends or family or whatever. So a lot of people that helped me towards the European Championships, and then so obviously all very, very supportive and very happy for me. And my mum was obviously, ecstatic. She was amazed of the kind of where I was, like after having been amputated 2 years before that or 3 years before that. So
I got a lot of time for you, Mum. Your mum's a lovely woman.
Happy times, yeah. She just got back from England, yeah. She was.
She been over?
My grandmother, yeah.
Oh.
Helping out.
So there were one story that I wanted to talk about to sort of dob you in, and
Peppers.
Talking about not the Peppers. I don't want to talk about the Peppers. Was your experience during the European Championships? What was the worst thing you got in trouble for during the European Championships?
Why did I get in trouble? Well, I was getting on well with Joe Coyd, who is the son of big boss Martin Coyd, and during national, I'm a musician. Obviously, we've talked about that earlier on, and so I pay attention to
tone and key and
exactly
holding a tune.
And we were singing national anthem, and I had behind me, I think it was Nathan Holmes, and behind me to the right was Joe Coyd, and I think both of them are tone deaf. And they were singing. It was awful. It was. I mean, it just. I remember turning back, looking at them, and saying, "What are you doing?" And then it just made me laugh and laugh and laugh, and then I just burst out laughing. But I was very ashamed by it, and I kind of put my head down so no one would notice. But so everyone thought I was crying at first, until everyone realised I was actually just laughing out loud, kind of thing. Yeah. I got in trouble for that. And then for a few other things, I think just messing around with Joe. So then I was told I wasn't allowed to go and sing the national anthem with my team. I had to do it on the side in the dark.
In the dark.
It was in the dark. Joe and I had to go on.
You had to be separated. It was like two naughty school kids, and it's like, you sit on the left, you sit on the right, you stay away from each other. You're both a bad influence.
We were just happy, you know. So we kind of talked about that a lot with Martin Gill afterwards, who was the one that, you know, punished us, and we hold that against him for quite a few years. Still do. Hate you, Gill. I actually wrote a song about it, didn't I?
Yes, I was just going to say, yeah, you wrote a song about him, didn't you?
Remembering it now.
Yeah. Do you have a piano there?
I do downstairs, yeah.
But that's for another time.
Not doing the song again. Yeah.
So, when were you staying with us? Was that before the Euros or before the World Cup?
With you at your place, you mean?
Yeah.
World Cup. That was World Cup.
Was that before 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were staying with us during 2017. Where do you think England deserved to come in the World Cup 2017?
Where do I think they deserve to come? Well, it's difficult to say. I definitely think it's top two, obviously, and then I think the game was slightly unfair, kind of biased. Obviously, there being 3 French refs out of 4, and no English ref.
I mean, we're by no means saying that the nothing's fixed or anything like that kind of thing. We're just obviously in a World Cup final in France, that's the odds that are stacked against you. You've got a crowd of all them people, haven't we? That's
huge crowd against us. Refs, French toes. I'm not saying it was fixed, just saying, you know, it was slightly biased because, you know, when a decision could go either way, it obviously always goes.
It's them 50-50 decisions that make the difference, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So very difficult game. I mean, but then again, if we really were really deserving and much better than them, I think we could have beat them anyway, even with the biased decisions. So I think we'll deserve it next time in 2021. We have to work towards that and do better.
Definitely. I mean, when I talk to when I talk to Wayne, he is adamant, and he won't deviate from it. He says we won 2017. I don't know how he's got that mindset, but he actually does believe we won the World Cup in 2017.
I like to believe so sometimes as well, but
yeah. He just says we won, but we didn't get a trophy.
Yeah, nor a medal.
We just left it there.
Yeah.
So you were staying with us in the lead up. Go on.
I understand his point of view because, you know, if you watch it back, and I've watched it back a lot of times now, you just see how many errors were not counted and how many, you know, things were kind of weird decisions, and then you've got one of Ryan's tries that were disallowed, and Martin Lane's try that was disallowed. And then you've got the one of their weird tries where Fabien like headbutts it and then scores off that when we had all stopped playing because we thought it was a knock on. And then a forward pass from Fabien to Danny, I think, was one of the actions as well. And everyone saw it was a forward pass, but it was considered as nothing. So, I mean, I definitely get what Wayne's saying. We in a way, we should have won it, but we didn't. So we just have to work harder and be much better than them at next World Cup.
I think the best way to look at it is what it is, and we get another chance in 2021.
Yeah. We just have to focus on next World Cup. I mean, we can't talk about 2017. In 20 years, we won't say, yeah, we won in 2017. People will look up on the internet and say, no, you didn't. French did. So, yeah, well. And then,
Yeah, so we had a really good build-up for the World Cup, didn't we? We had a really good build-up. We were lots of training involved. You were coming over. You were staying with us, obviously. I
came over to stay most possible with you. So I came over for over a month. And obviously there was already the training that I was coming to. It was every 3 weeks or something. But then just before the summer, I came to stay with you, so we could train weekly. We had this kind of weekly England training up in Leeds, didn't we? So
yeah, because you were playing with. We were the training sessions were at Morley, weren't they? At Leeds venue.
Yeah,
because you were playing for Leeds that season.
Definitely helped a lot because not only did we play better together thanks to that, but I think on an individual point, I think you all helped me get my wheelchair on the right track, kind of thing. I had very bad straps and all sorts of bad stuff, and changed my wheels and changed all sorts, and it made me a much better player.
Can you just point out to the people when? So obviously you came in, you had your chair, and I remember because you're on them day chair tires, and the ones with the loads of really deep grip. And I remember Wayne just like saying, "Get them off your tires now," sort of thing. But he, for the people who are listening or watching, how important actually is it for the straps and the chair setup? How much can that actually change your game?
Changes everything. I mean, on an individual point of view, because this is not talking about team play, but this is like your own personal skills kind of thing. To be well strapped in your chair, to be one with the wheelchair, it just helps you so much in how you can move your chair. It's just basically, if you watch a great player I like to watch is Jack Brown, and he can move all over the place with his wheelchair, and that comes from good straps, which will definitely help you improve on a personal point of view. And then the tires, obviously. I mean, I changed the marathons for Tufos, which were tubular tires, and I gained in speed and control and everything as well. They're slightly more fragile, so now I'm in between with the Kenda, the red Kendas, I've got Calientes, which I find very, very good as well. So yeah, very important to focus on your straps and stuff. Definitely.
One big thing we always point out with our players when they get into chairs for the first time, or when they get a new chair, a lot of manufacturers will set your sports chair so that your anti-tip's touching the floor. Have you ever seen that? The amount of times that we have to lift the anti-tip up on players' chairs so that they have that little bit of tip. Because the easiest way to think of it is the easiest way to think of it is you've got 3 wheels that are all the same level as your big wheel in the middle. As soon as you lift up your anti-tip, all of your weight is on them big wheels, and then you've got all the traction and all of the acceleration. So that's all the tips that we'll be giving anyway. We don't want to give away all our secrets, mate. We'll lose our spots on team.
We'll lose our spot on the team, definitely.
Yeah, but we had a lot of preparation for the World Cup in 2017 and stuff like that. And there was one story I did want to talk about, which was I still haven't heard from my cleaner. Would you like to tell that story?
I don't think I remember it very well, mate.
Oh, I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm away at work and Jade's away at work. Seb's staying in the house, so he decided he was making his breakfast. And we had a cleaner for our house who came round every 2 weeks, and it was like £20. Great. We felt like bloody aristocrats, and we felt like we were royalty, and we had a cleaner. But our cleaner came round, and she saw that someone was in the kitchen, but she knocked on the door anyway, and she was greeted at the door by a guy just wearing nothing but underwear, who were cooking. What did you say? It were hola, bonjour lover or something like that.
Bonjour lover.
What did you say? I'm sure. Oh, she opened the door or something, and you was like, bonjour lover or something like that, because you thought I'd come home early.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
needless to say, my cleaner decided that she was never going to clean my house ever again.
I jumped out half naked. Yeah, she was kind of afraid. Yeah. Well,
she thought there was more than one person in my house when she talked to us.
She did. She thought you were getting robbed, though, didn't she?
She thought I was getting robbed, or you was having an orgy in my house.
Yeah. God, poor woman. And you've never heard back from her?
No. We've got to clean our own house now. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
So, one of the other points. You're still playing for Catalan.
Yeah.
Have you organised a game against Leeds?
Still waiting on them for that. So we've been pushing it as much as possible. But Leeds this year is like going with the governing body of the actual Leeds team. So they're going to be the ones controlling all the finance and everything. So they're waiting on. I mean, the players all want to do the game. So they're just waiting on higher ups to allow the finances and say, okay, let's do this kind of thing. So we're just waiting for an answer. If in the end they decide there's no financing and it's not possible, we'll obviously offer the solution that we pay for everything, and we fly over and just do a unique game against them in the venue of their choice, like we did with Halifax, who still refused after that.
Yeah, I know that.
But we're looking forward to it. I mean, I know the chairman on my side is pushing, trying to make this happen, and we're just waiting for Leeds to say yes.
Yeah,
and we hope they do, because I think it'll be a great game.
I remember it'll be well before you started playing. We used to have a European league. It used to consist of the English league was England, Bury, St Helens, and everyone. And Catalan were in that league as well. So everyone in England was playing Catalan, a home and away game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Catalan ended up winning that season.
What, in a wheelchair?
Yeah, in the wheelchair. Yeah, it'll have been 2 or 3 years before you started, I reckon.
Oh, 2011, when they beat you in the finals.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got the trophy at home of that.
Oh, do you?
I've got the trophy at home. It says against Halifax. I don't know why I've got it, but I've got it. It's on my wall.
You weren't even there.
I know.
Well, I remember that because we'd gone over and we'd already beat Catalan once at home, and we worked it out that at that time there were no grand finals, so we went over there to play our final fixture, and we was like, it doesn't matter if we lose or win, we're top of the league, we've won. So we went over there with this mentality of we're already top of the league, they can't go past us because we've got too many points on them. And then it was then when you guys decided that we were having a grand final after that, because obviously you guys were second, and we played a second game which we lost. So we played one game which meant nothing, and then we played another game the next day, which we lost in. And there's a funny story. Stuart Walker, who used to play for us, we'd gone over there, and it was just after. It wasn't long after the 08 World Cup, and we had a massive telling off over there because of hydration. None of us were hydrated enough. They used to do make us pee into cups and stuff and test us for how hydrated we were and stuff. Yeah. And the Stuart had gone over, and because it was so hot, obviously in Perpignan, he just before the game downed about 4 liters of water, just necked it. And after that, he ended up throwing up. He made himself sick. We were overhydrated. He wasn't able to play. And once we'd lost, obviously, we was on a bus and we had to get back as soon as possible. So the flight was coming soon. And we had to go outside. We got into, and there was you need to get in the bus really quick. We need to go. We're going to miss the flight. But Catalan had put out a mobile bar outside with serving San Miguel. So me and Wayne were both sat at the bar having a beer with Cyril and Nico and stuff. But Stuart had got onto the van early. He'd done as he'd told because he's a good boy. And they ratcheted him down. They ratcheted him into the van and stuff. And I think we sat there for another half an hour drinking while Stuart was locked in the van.
Was ill.
Yeah, Stuart was locked in the van, bless him. Sun were beaming through the glasses. He was sweating his arse off, bless him. Yeah. And after that, Wayne nicknamed him Camel.
Camel. Poor Stuart.
I loved it.
Poor Stuart. Yeah.
But a lot's changed now. I mean, France have now got classification, haven't they?
Yeah, so it's second season this has been going on now, I think. Yeah. Second season.
Can you tell us exactly if you know exactly how the classification works over there? Because
so
it's something people are guessing over here.
Yeah, it's similar to basketball in a way. So the maximum points is 18 instead of 15 basketball. Yeah. So 18, and then the actual classifications that's where it's very weird. It actually depends on each person is particular, and you have to be seen by an official doctor. So basically, generally, a single amp below knee amp is a 4-pointer.
So you're 4.
Above knee, I'm 4. Able-bodied is 5. But there's no and a half. So there's no 4.5, no 3.5, no 2.5. So above knee amp. So just same as me, single amputee, but above the knee is a 3-pointer.
All right.
A double amputee, like your brother, would be 2 points.
Really?
Yeah.
So Harry would only be 2 points.
Harry would be 2-pointer. And maybe has he got a problem with his arm as well, or not at all?
Well, he's got hyperextension of the elbow, so his elbow actually bends up to here, and he's missing a pinky.
So he could classify to be 1 point maybe, which is how ridiculous it is. Yeah, but people do that though. There's the thing. So there's some people that are just, what kind of example can I find? People that just walk badly, like Jody, for example, and they've managed to say, oh, this hurts as well, and this hurts as well. So then 3-pointers, and we're at Catalan, and we're having a big issue with this because we don't have any. We have mostly single amps like Jill, me, and whatever, and so we have a lot of 4-pointers. And if you think about it, if you put 5 amputees on the pitch, you can't play it because that's 4 times over. That's 20. That's over above the. So playing with 5 disabled people, you can't play the game. So I think there was 2 teams that actually had to stop playing in the championship because they just couldn't respect the rule. And so we're having to play 2 people. So if you remember Joël Lacombe, who's a 3-pointer.
Is he the new double amputee?
No, that's Arnold Vargas. He's a 2-pointer, double amputee, 2 points. So he has
worth the points, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good. Well, he's a good upcoming French player. He's definitely got the rugby. He's played rugby all his life. He's just too much of an individual player at the moment for me. I mean, he's a friend, obviously, but playing with him can sometimes be difficult because he doesn't do the fast tagging up. He kind of will get contact and start waving around and turning around and then not giving the ball. And you lose a lot of time. And he doesn't have the physical condition yet to stay on for 80 minutes, and he has to stay on for 80 minutes. So he gets very tired and doesn't perform as well as he could if he was playing just 40 minutes, for example. And same for Joel, who has to also stay on for 80 minutes, and he gets too tired, and he's got a problem with his arm. So his arm's blocked like that, so he can't actually extend his arm, which is another thing I find weird. So he's got a disability with his arm, but he's considered more points than a double leg amputee, who have both their arms, not a problem, kind of thing. It's just weird. Anyway, then I think Wayne, like paraplegic people would be 1-pointers, and that's it. So and then other categories they have to evaluate it, and then it's just basically how well you pay the doctor to get the right amount of points. So it's difficult. We can't really play with 2 able-bodied people anymore. Because that takes up 10
feasible.
points.
It's not
and
feasible.
Then you would need 3 double amps, and not many people have that in their team. So
yeah, we said this with Stuart Williams. We're talking like there's a time when it has to come in, isn't there? There is. Eventually it has to happen.
It has to happen one day. We're just not ready. Not ready for it at all.
Yeah, I think trying to run before we can walk, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think in France they have new people that are leading, kind of thing, and they really want to push it forward much quicker than it should happen. And there are people coming from quad rugby, but so this one of the main guys behind this is a guy that comes from quad rugby, doesn't know a thing about rugby league, and is pushing the fact that we have these classifications because he wants to be fair for more disabled players. And it's unfortunate because they could just stay in quad rugby and leave us alone, kind of because it's basically your
I think the best defense to that is to just I don't like blowing Wayne's trumpet, but is to just say, look, Wayne's one of the top wheelchair rugby league players in the world. Cyril Torres is one of the best wheelchair rugby league players in the world, and they're lower points and they run ragged around ABs. Is it a point where the classification is, and people are probably going to shout at me for this or give me some shit, but it's like, is there a point where the classification is more for awarding people with more disability rather than awarding people for skill? Because you're better than most other single amputees. Wayne's better than most paraplegics. I'm better than most ABs, but that's why the sport sort of picks us at the moment. But as soon as the classification comes in, is that where you're like sort of going, that person's got to come in now because we're doing a classification and we're going for equality, extreme equality?
Yeah, well, definitely, because you can't. If you think about it in Catalan, so the best players definitely the closels like Nico and Gilles, and you've got me and Lolo, but we can't play together anymore. We can't play our stronger side anymore with these rules. So you want to make the sport more inclusive and whatever, or more equality, but then you're taking away the show kind of thing, because you're forcing us to put less performing players on the team. And
it's
for a sport that's trying to grow.
it's nothing. It's nothing against doing that, because you got to develop your players somewhere by getting them played, sort of thing. I think there's more of a
no, but obviously, but then I mean that's kind of, in my opinion, that's the coach's responsibility, not the whole governing body to make us play them more. But right now with the actual rules, it's not just playing them a bit more so they can get more experience. We're actually having to play them 80 minutes, whereas we would like
can
to
cause a lot of problems as well.
Yeah,
especially for
and
paraplegics and people with a more severe disability.
Yeah, they're not all of them are capable of playing 84 minutes. You see. And so taking away the stronger side, you take away from the show, and I think when we're a sport that's growing and we want to be seen, we want to be seen at our absolute best. We don't want to show. I mean, there's nothing bad against more disabled people, but we don't want to, we don't want it to be boring kind of thing. And if you have a really strong team of single amps and ABs, but you can't play, so you have to bring someone else in that's never done rugby before, and he's a 1 pointer. Oh, great! So we can put him on the side, but that's kind of taking away from the show, in a way.
I think the sport's still very young, isn't it? I mean, invented in 2002 in France. It only came to England in 2005, really. And if you think of wheelchair basketball and even murder ball's been around a lot longer. Basketball, I think it was like the 60s or 70s or something like that.
1952, I think, something like that.
1942?
52, I think.
52, yeah. Something like that.
Long time ago.
But think of that's over half a century of development and building and stuff. And we're trying to be on a par with them after 10 years. 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it can't happen.
I think the focus at the moment has to be at the grassroots. It's got to be getting the games played, getting the scope out there and showing the videos and what we're doing today, talking about it and letting people know what's going on, sort of thing, rather than trying to be something we're not. I think the sport just needs people to know about it and people to take part in it. And
let it grow first, and then we'll start all these classification rules. I've got it under. It's actually started in 1946.
1946.
Between American World War disabled veterans. Yeah. 1946 in the States.
That is a long time ago. That is a long time ago.
Year after the war, just after the war, World War II.
I see. We can't compete with that development. That's we won't, like I say, we're only in it for just under 20 years, sort of thing. It's amazing the point that Wheelchair Rugby League is at now. Just with the affiliation with the FFR, RFL, we've got all these things coming up. I mean, the World Cup 17 was amazing. How France did that, all of them live streams that they were doing. They've got they're looking at a BBC getting involved.
So World Cup 2021, everything will be on BBC. Yeah, red button.
How exciting is that?
That's very, very exciting. 2021 is looking to be the best World Cup ever, with venues that are going to be just amazing. So we're like us, in England team, will be playing our group games in London Copperbox Arena in London. So that's 7,500 seats, which is huge. If we get into the semi-finals, that's in Sheffield, and that's huge as well. I don't know how big. And then the finals is in Liverpool in the M&S Arena, which is 11,000 seats, which is never done in Wheelchair Rugby League ever. It's going to be huge, and then it's going to be streamed on internet. It's going to be on TV. It's just going to be amazing.
It's just got a similar feeling to the London Olympics, hasn't it? I can't remember what year the year they were now, but
2012, yeah.
Yeah, 2012 London Olympics. It's got that same kind of feeling of a big, like a massive, like milestone that is going to be reached in terms of disability sports and awareness.
All that thanks to England that is pushing forward disability sports, which is, a lot of respect to that. That's good. Very happy about it.
Yeah, I can't wait, mate.
I'm very excited. So
I've actually got to confess, I actually missed the first camp in the run-up for our next game, which is France in June.
Obligatory camps. And Mr. Brown was on holiday. Yeah.
I was looking after my niece and nephew. They
well,
needed me.
To be fair with you, I can't be there on the 19th of May.
What, the second one?
The third.
Oh,
one.
right. So I'll see you at the next one then.
Yeah, I'll be there. I've booked my flight. I'm actually flying over on the last day of April. So I can go and do May morning in Oxford. Do you know what May morning is?
Not a clue.
So in Oxford and Cambridge, they have a thing called May morning. So you get up at 4 a.m. and you go to the centre of the city, and at 5 o'clock there's this choir kind of singing on the top of the tower there, and then there's bands and dancers all over the place, and you start drinking beer at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No.
And it just goes on all morning. Every single bar and pub and whatever is open, and there's bands everywhere, live music everywhere, everyone drinking pints and pints. And so by 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. you've had about 5-6 pints. You start having breakfast. So you have your breakfast, a sausage sandwich or something like that. And it goes on for the rest of the day. But you start at 4 a.m. Everyone meets in the middle of town at 4 a.m.
Why have I not heard of this?
I know. Well, come and join me. My uncle lives in Oxford, so I'm flying over to see him, and we'll do May morning together. And then I think we have the camp in Sheffield, don't we? So then I'll come over to Sheffield. Did you know it was in Sheffield?
No, they tell me the day before, and then I'll just turn up. That's how I work.
Yeah. I'm into the secret, so I can't reveal too much. But yeah, next camp is in Sheffield.
I think we probably already revealed too many secrets today, to be fair, mate.
Yeah, probably have.
Yeah, we've probably been dropped already. We've already received the email.
I know. Well, they can't do that yet. Can't replace us.
Never say never. Never say never.
Yeah.
I'll call it a do there, mate, because one, I need
Lovely.
a pee, and one, I need some tea.
I do too, yeah. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Definitely hungry.
Thank you for talking to us, mate. I found out a lot about you. I talked about a lot of stuff I already knew about you. And
thank you. I would like to ask a question to you. What are you doing to get ready for World Cup? How's your nutrition going on?
My nutrition?
Your gym sessions and stuff.
I'm having to really knuckle down on my diet, to be honest. I in the past have not had a good diet. I will skip meals. Sometimes I can go all day and just have a couple of bites of cheese, and I actually don't eat. So that is my big thing at the moment, is getting my diet on plan.
Yeah, as you can tell, to get ready, mate.
As you can tell, because I'm just skin and bones.
Yeah. No, none of this.
Did you lose that weight you put on?
No, I put on a bit more, actually.
I'm telling Wayne. No. I'm telling Wayne.
Yeah, well, he knows. I had a call with him the other day. Invited me to his wedding. But I'm not in the best of shapes at the moment, because it's my phase where I'm being tranquille, which means just not forcing too much. And then starting from September, I've got 2 years to get ready. I think I'll start the proper diet. And
what about June?
Well, June will be what it's like. I mean, June I'll play well. I just won't be at my personal absolute best. Will you? You're always at your best.
I try.
It's just.
Thanks for talking to us, dude. I had a right chat.
Yeah. Have a good tea then.
Yeah, I will do. I think I'm having meat and potato pie today.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I might have some sausages or something. I don't know what I've got. I'll have a look. Anyway.
Have some peppers.
Thanks a lot then. Nice speaking to you.
Thanks, dude. Catch you soon.